In today's video, we're going to be going over one of Alola's favorite bird next to Rowlet, Toucannon. We're going to be showing you how the Toucan can actually be a viable meta deck in the Pokemon TCG. So I'll catch you guys very shortly. Hey, what is up YouTube? This is Platinum Point, and I'm here to bring you guys yet again another Pokemon deck profile. Today we're going to be exploring another one prizer deck. This one is on one of my favorite birds from the Sun and Moon era, Toucannon. We're going to be going over, so one thing I wanted to stress with this list before I go over it is it's a really interesting concept that I've been kind of toying around with because of Toucannon's ability to essentially do, I think the number was like 260 damage while being a single prizer, and have all this like the abilities that Entei, Suicune, Raikou in the Sword and Shield era had, which was drawing a card and giving you an ability to attack for a huge amount of damage for as little energy investment as possible. So I'm going to showcase to you the deck that I've kind of put together because I just really like experimenting with decks. I'm gonna stress and preface this is just an experimental list. I'm still refining it and trying to find ways to make this deck run smoothly. I'm still testing this deck, but this is just a draft. I wouldn't say a rough draft, but here's an experiment that I would like everybody who's interested in working with me via the comment section to perfect this deck. So let's get through the deck profile, but before we do, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe. We did hit 1,000 subscribers, and I want to continue doing more fun, not just Pokemon content, but just trading card game content in general. So let's start off with the Pokemon lineup. We're running a pretty fat Pokemon lineup. So I'm running 4 Picky Peck. We're running 4 Picky Peck, 3 Trumbeak, and my favorite from Pitch Black, 4 copies of Toucannon. So what Toucannon has is the ability Aerial Draw once per turn, and it doesn't have to be in the active. You draw a card for each copy. And then for 1 energy, it has the attack Feather Rondo, which does 60 damage plus an additional 20 for each Pokemon on both players' bench. Not just my own, but my opponent's. So with a full bench, it can do 260 damage, which is really nuts for a single prizer to do on its own. And it's a stage 2, so a really healthy, like a really powerful Pokemon to run. So we play 4 copies of that. This is our main attacker. And right now, since it's a stage 2 deck, I was thinking, oh, like, what is a good partner for this? And one of the partners that I considered is Duskull, the Duskull line, because you can now with the searcher of Dawn, you can search out the evolution line for both, and they pair well because the Duskull can soften off the targets by shooting 13 damage counters onto your opponent's Pokemon. And then especially if it's a mega, all you have to do is just hit it with a Feather Rondo, and then you just get, like, you can knock out megas that are thick boys. So we wanted to like use the two in conjunction, and this is the lineup I have right now. Continuing on with the supporting Pokemon, we play 2 copies of Badoo. Since this deck is running stage 2 and it tends to be slow, you need to be able to slow the game down, and one of the ways to do that is item locking. So we play 2 copies of Badoo just so we can continuously pressure them early game to item lock. I know it's a scummy strategy, but for a deck like this, it's a single prizer. Item lock is just a really valuable asset. And another strategy I sometimes that is also valuable is like not bench locking, but stranding, like retreat locking. And I'm playing 2 copies of Yveltal because for a single dark energy, I can just clutch and then just hold the fort down. Especially with Pokemon I want to knock out, I can just clutch, and then when it's time to go in, I can Feather Rondo for knockout. and take an easy Nate Tail. And since we're playing a single prizer deck, we're not playing any Meowths, we're not playing Fezzes. So I'm playing one Tatsugiri as our utility card. So that's it for the Pokemon lineup. It's a very it's an interesting concept because I've been challenging myself to try different decks, not just play my Zoroark. Even though I do play other decks other than Zoroark, but I never really wanted to try I haven't touched a single prizer deck since Sun and Moon era when I was playing Zoroark with the Mind Jack Zoroark deck, because that one was one of my favorite decks to play back then. And I like the attack Mind Jack because Feather Rondo is pretty much the same thing. The Rondo attacks are pretty much the same thing as Mind Jack. So that's it for our Pokemon lineup. I'm gonna put that aside. Our supporter lineup is actually pretty standard, or not standard, but pretty typical for a stage 2 deck. So we're playing 4 copies of Lily, 3 copies of Boss's Orders. I'm playing 2 copies of Dawn, because we only need it to set up the. Essentially, we're just needing it to set up both the Duskulls and the Toucannons. Because once we set that up, we're pretty much we just get rolling with the deck. And so Dawn helps you search both out without having to expend resources using cards like Ultra Ball to do it. We play 2 copies of that. And then lastly, as our disruption card, I play 1 Ruffian just to handle special energy and tools. And then for items, this is what we're playing right now. So we're playing 4 Buddy Buddy Poffin, 4 Pokepad, and that's it for our searching. I'm very tight right now in room to play Ultra Ball, because we're playing so many other utility cards that is needed with this deck. Like for example, I'm playing 3 Rare Candy because since we're running 2 different stage 2s, being able to expedite the Toucannon is very important, because if we can at least have two Toucannons out, we're drawing 2 every turn and then swinging. So and we want to be able to at least have 2 to 3 Toucannons on board as quickly as possible, so we can start like taking knockouts. And to help out with the consistency of the deck, I play 2 copies of Pokegear. Yeah, I know it's kind of redundant since I'm playing Tatsugiri, but in cases where I get the Tatsugiri prize, I'm playing 2 Pokegear. I may cut this to fit in the Ultra Balls just because since we're playing Tatsugiri, so it actually there is justifiable room to put in 2 Ultra Balls by cutting the gears. Next we play 2 Night Stretcher, 1 special red card, and then our tool of choice is going to be 2 air balloons. And then our stadium of choice is I'm actually playing 2 Risky Ruin. My logic behind the Risky Ruins, even though I'm not playing Monkey Dory, is it helps me soften. If I establish my board already and you play this in the early game, since this deck can easily establish the board really easy thanks to Buddy Buddy Poffin and Pokepad and Dawn, that once we drop this on our opponent, it helps us soften up our attack targets really easily, unless they're playing a dark deck, which then you just hold off on this. But this is just mainly here just to help soften up targets so that our Dusknoirs can weaken them even further and the Toucannons can knock them out. And then for energy, we're playing 6 dark, and I'm playing 1 enriching energy. One of the things that this deck lacks right now is, even though Toucannon draws 1 every turn, you can only benefit off of it once you get into the bench. And early game, you need some kind of way to set up. So I thought about putting in enriching energy as that kind of utility card. And in testing, I'm still testing it. Another A spec that I'm thinking about playing instead of this is either the legacy energy or the secret box. But right now I'm testing enriching energy since it's a colorless deck, and it's an additional energy that allows me to attach onto Toucannon, draw 4, and then with the Toucannon draw, I can draw 6 in 1 turn, which is really nice. I know this does better with the the Dunsparce, because then you could draw and then shuffle itself back. So I'm also considering the Dunsparce engine in this deck, just so I have more draw engines in this deck to help consistently get into my game plan. But overall, this is just a really fun experiment that I'm running, because I really liked some of the reveals from Pitch Black, and one of the cards that I really enjoyed from Pitch Black was the Toucannon. Hence why I managed to get my hands on a playset of illustration rare Toucannons. Toucannon is just such a fun Pokemon to play. Like, oh my god. And the image is just, the art is just beautiful. So I hope you guys like this experimental deck profile. I'm still testing this list and I'm going to continuously refine it, but it's going to be one of my side projects, because I do want to provide some fun decks for people to play besides the highly competitive ones, especially since Dragapult everybody still has Dragapult with fatigue, including myself. So I hope you guys like this video. Don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe. Also crack that freaking button, because we just hit 1,000 and I want to continue growing this channel, and hopefully in the future we can do more fun stuff. So I'll catch you guys later. Don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe. Also crack that like button, and I'll see you guys again. Don't forget to stay on point, guys. Peace out.